Welcome back to our beautiful YouTube channel. So this class we're going to be learning how to make this beautiful flared palazzo pants. You can see with band, and it has this beautiful pocket by the side and also a side zipper just like this. Okay, it's a full pants and it's very simple and easy to make. If this is something you would like to learn, kindly stay tuned to the end of this tutorial. Thank you. Okay, so this is a wide leg palazzo pants, and you can actually cut this directly on your fabric, but I want it to be visible. That's why I'm cutting on this pattern. Okay, so the first thing I did was to fold in some allowance, because like I said, the leg is wide, so depending on how wide you want your hem to be, you need to fold in this allowance, or you just mark it out. Just make sure that you have excess for you to do your extensions. So after folding it like this, I'm going to go ahead and draft my trouser pattern. Okay, so this is going to be my waistline. This trouser has a band, so it's going to have like 1.5 inches band. So you can see that I have removed 1.5 inches from my measurement. So from there, I'll start taking my measurement. This is going to be my waistline, also my starting point, and then I'm going to go ahead and just strip my crotch length measurement. I don't usually add hip measurement to my trouser, so my crotch is 11.5. okay, so 11.5 is around here, so I'm going to mark that, and with my ruler I'm going to connect it. Okay, so after that, on my side here, so that I can shape it, I'm going to take 1 inch allowance on the sides all round. So from the upper part here, I'm going to mark 1 inch, and then I'll just take that measurement to the hem. Okay, so my marker was not showing well, so I had to go change it. So here on my waistline, I'm going to take my waist measurement. That's where you're placing your band. It's a high pant, so the waist is a bit high. So now my waist measurement is 37. The waist is 38 inches. Divided by 4 is 9.5. So I'm going to take this measurement from this 1 inch. Okay, so you can see my 9.5 is here, and I'm going to mark it. So we are going to add a dart to this. You add 1 inch for your dart, and then 1 inch for your seam allowance. I don't think I want a dart on this pant, so I'm not going to add that allowance. I'm just adding 1 inch for my seam allowance. Okay, so after that, the next measurement I'm going to take is my thigh measurement, so the fuller part of your thigh. So for me, that's 30 inches. So this measurement now, you're going to divide it by 2. Remember, the legs are separate, so that's 15 inches for me. So now this measurement, I'm going to take it from this outer part now. So I'll just place my 15 inches here and then mark it out. Okay, so it stops here. Okay, so as a guide, the measurement that I have here, which is 10.5, I'm just going to mark it here as well, so that I can have a straight line, which is going to guide me for my crotch curve. So this is what I have. So for your crotch curve, you're going to get like a center line here. This will guide you, or you can just eyeball it, but there is a line here that just gives you a perfect V, which is here. So here I'm just going to extend this like this, and then the amount of extension that you're going to work with is whatever you have here. So I have 3.5 inches here, so what I have here, I'm going to divide it by 4. Okay, you can see where your waistline stops. So from here to here is what I measured. I have 3.5 inches, and that 3.5 inches, I'm dividing it by 4. Okay, so after dividing by 4, I have close to 1 inch, I think 0.75 and a bar. So that's what I'm going to be using to extend this. So it's going to stop around here. So for my crotch, I'm just going to connect from my waistline all the way to this point and this point. This crotch is very important if you don't want your trouser to be packing, so you should just get a very good curve to do this. Okay, okay, if your cuff cannot take it all at once, you can take it in bits. So I'm connecting from here to here, and then please get a better cuff. This is what I can find for now, that's why I'm using it. Okay, so now I'm connecting from here to the end. Okay, make sure that your cuff is taking everything together, and then you have a very smooth cuff. Like I said, please get something better. Okay, so I'm doing this first, and then I'll find a way to just blend everything together, just like this. So this is my crotch line. So now this is a wide leg palazzo pant. So assuming it's just a straight pant, what you just need to do is to take this down straight like that. So but for this I'm going to be increasing the hem. So to do this I just need to get my gaiter line. So the gaiter line is just measuring your crotch, your thigh measurement, and you divide that by 2. My thigh is 15, divided by 2 is 7.5. So I'll just mark the 7.5 all around, and then I'll make it into a straight line, and that is my gaiter line. So after getting this line, you need to determine how wide you want your hem to be. It's a wide palazzo pant, so it can range from 20 to 30 inches depending on how wide you want it to be and the amount of fabric you have to work with. So I think for my fabric I can still do 25 inches width. So after determining how wide you want, you can take it around your leg as well. Remember, 25 inches is just for one side of the pant. So by the time you sew the front and back together, I'm going to have about 50 inches. So this is what 50 inches looks like, and it's wide enough for me. So if this is too wide for you, if you're working with 20 inches, that's going to be like 40, and this is what 40 is going to look like. So now I'm working with 25 inches. So now this 25 inches I'm going to distribute it inside this gaiter line. So now 25 inches divided by 4 is 12.5. so now on your hem, that's after measuring your length. So my length is about 45 inches thereabout. So I'll need to join to this paper. So I have added to my paper now, and I have my full 45 inches for my length. Okay, so but before we do that, I need to shape my side. Remember, we took the thigh measurement from here and we took the waistline measurement from here. So to shape it, you just need to create that hip cuff. You connect from here to your thigh measurement, which is here. So using a curved ruler, I'm just going to place it like this and then get my hip cuff there. Okay, so this is going to be fitted up to around the hip area. Okay, so that is what we have. You can see our hip cuff shaped out there. So now after shaping out our hip cuff, the next thing I need is to create that wide leg. To create the wide leg, the allowance that I folded in here, I'm going to bring it out now, and then I'll go over to my hem. So here on my hem, this gaiter line here, I'm going to measure 12.5 to each side from there. So from here now, I'm going to mark 12.5 inches towards this side, and then I'll just note it down, and then I'll go to the other side as well, and then mark my 12.5 inches. It's quite big, so I couldn't get up to 12.5 inches on the other side, so I just have to add this paper. So now from the gaiter line, which is here, I'm going to mark another 12.5 towards this side. Okay, my 12.5 is here. So the next thing to do now is to connect everything together. So to connect it, you're going to connect from the crotch. Okay, so for the side of the crotch, I'm going to be connecting from my crotch here all the way to the 12.5 inches that I marked on my hem. So you're going to use a long ruler for this. So I'll just use my tape rule to demonstrate what I'm doing. So I'm connecting from here all the way to that point, and I'm going to shift my camera so that we can see what I'm doing there. So you can see it's just going to be diagonal like this. So I'll connect this and then we'll connect the other side as well. So it is connected now, and this is what it looks like. So for the other side, I'm going to connect it. You can, depending on where you want your feet to stop, okay, you can connect from this your crotch line as well to the 12.5 that you have, or you just take your hip length measurement. Okay, so for me, my hip length is around 9 inches for this, which is also very close to my crotch. So you go off by 1.5 for the band, and then you take that measurement. Okay, so my hip length is around here, around 10 inches. Okay, please let me confirm that. Okay, so my hip length is 10 inches. Yeah, so now from that 10 inches, if you want your fitness to stop around the hip, you just take your tape now and then connect it diagonally to the 12.5 inches that we marked, or you can also connect from your crotch length. Okay, and then you connect diagonally to the, I don't know if you, okay, so you can connect from here like this, and then you connect it all the way to the hem, to the 12.5 inches that we marked on the hem, or you connect from your hip length to your hem if you want your fitness to stop around the hip line. So I'm going to connect from my hip now all the way to my hem, and then I'm going to draw it out. So I have connected it as well, and you can see what it looks like. So I just connected it to my hem line just like that. So you can see the volume that we have added to this. You can also use slash and spread method for this. If you want to use slash and spread method, you just need to cut it on your crease line and then you slash it. But we are doing this for those that does not like to work with slash and spread, so you can easily do this directly on your fabric. So I'll go ahead and cut this out so that we can see it better. Okay, so I have got to cut this now. You can see the waistline here. This is the crotch, and then this is the volume that we have added. This is one side of it, and that is the other side. So for the back, it's simple. What we just need to do at the back is to extend this crotch. You can extend it by 2.5 or 3 inches depending on how big the person's bum is. So this is just to accommodate the bum, and then on the upper part here, I'm going to go up by 1 inch. So I'll do this directly on my fabric. I'll cut this out first, then I'll bring it back to show us how to add all of these measurements. Okay, so I'm working with this rib fabric, and I've placed it to cut my front. So you can see what my front looks like now. So I'll just place it, fold it again, and then place it to cut the back. So for the back, like I said, I'm going to extend this crotch by 2.5 or 3 inches depending on how big the person's bum is, and then on this upper part here on the waistline, I'm going to come up for bum rise. I'm going to come up by 1 inch, and then I'm going to connect it back to the side in a diagonal form, just like that. So here you just connect it the same way back to your crotch measurement, and if you're going to be adding a dart to the back, you need to add 1 inch for the dart, and then you connect it back to the new 2.5 or 3 inches that you have added here. So here from this crotch now, you just connect it all the way to the hem like that. So I'll do all of this now, and then I'll bring it to explain to her. This is quite big, so I had to move it to the floor to be able to capture everything together. Okay, so just as I have explained what I did to the back, the side remains the same. As you have seen, the side remains the same. The only modification is to the center area where you have your crotch. So for the back, on the waistline, I came up by 1 inch. Okay, on the side I came up by 1 inch as well, and then on this crotch line, this center line that you have here, I came out by 1.5 inches. All of this is to accommodate the bum, and then on the crotch line itself, I extended my crotch by 3 inches because this person has a big bum. So after doing all of this, I connected them together with my cuff, and I just connected it somewhere on the side just like this, so that it can match up with what I have in front, and then I went ahead to cut it out. So for the front as well, I'm going to come down by 1 inch at the center front here. This is just to shape it. It gives your pants fitting. So here I'll come down by 1 inch, and then from there again I'm going to connect this to the side, because the side have to match. Remember, you're going to join them together on the sides. So I'll cut this off for the front as well, just to give my pants some fit, and that is all you need to do. So after cutting it off, this is what I have, and now I can detach my pattern. So this trouser is going to have a slant pocket by the side. So I already have a tutorial on that on the channel, so if you want to see how I did that, you can check it out. I don't want this video to be too long, so I'm just going to go ahead and put my pockets, then I'll show us how to join this. So I have gone ahead to fix my pockets, as you can see. So this is the first pocket and this is the second pocket. So like I said, the tutorial on how I fix this is already on the channel, so you can check that out if you don't know how to fix a slant pocket. So back to our trouser, what you just need to do now is to flip your trouser right side facing right side for the front, and you go ahead and sew the crotch. Okay, so this crotch cuff that we have here, I'm going to sew it, and then I'll do the same thing for the back as well. I'm going to sew the back on the crotch, then after that I'm going to bring it back for us to continue. So I have sewn the crotch now for both front and back. This is what it looks like. You can see now that that center line is sewn together. So the next thing to do now is to place the crotch together, the under part of the crotch. So you can see you match the front and back together, so you can see now, and then you sew it. So you sew it to the hem of your trouser. So you match this side, you sew, and then you sew this side as well before you sew the sides. So I've gone ahead to pin it in place, as you can see now. So now the next thing to do now is to just sew from the leg part, you sew to your crotch, and then from crotch you sew all the way to the leg of the other side. So I have sewn the crotch area. You can see as I sew it from the hem all the way to the crotch and then back to the other hem. So this is what it looks like now. The next thing is for you to match up your side seam together. Okay, so you're going to match up your side seam. I have matched mine up, and you can see that I held it with my pin. So I did the same thing for the other side as well, and then I'm just going to go ahead and sew it with 1 inch. So I added 1 inch allowance to my back, remember, to the crotch on the back, because I wanted to place my zipper at the back, and I wanted to have that 1 inch allowance just like this. So I think I prefer my zipper at the side, so I'm just going to cut this off. If you are not going to be adding a dart, or you are not adding a zipper, or you don't want this zipper allowance, you just leave it as it is, and then you cut it exactly the same way you have cut your front. So what I'm going to do now is to go ahead and sew it, and you can see this is where the front starts, this is where the back starts. That's because we went up by 1 inch for the bum rise, so we have like 2 inches difference here. So we went up by 1 inch for the back, for the bum rise, and then we came down by another 1 inch for the front to have this V shape that we have. That's why you have these 2 inches difference. So I'll just go ahead and sew it now before we add our band. So I have sewn it on the sides, as you can see. So you can just sew your pocket together with it, or you just remove your pocket. So if you intend to sew your pocket together, you don't need to close this side of the pocket. So this is what it looks like now, you can see. So when you turn it to the right side, you just go ahead and use your waist measurement to cut out your band. Remember, I have a 1.5 inches band that I want to add to this. Okay, so this is my waistline, this is my side seam here. Okay, so you can see my pocket here, and then I'm just going to go ahead and add my band. So I've gone ahead to cut my band. The band is 1.5 inches, so I cut 4 inches. So by the time I fold it, I'll have 2 inches, and then I'm going to use half an inch on both sides, just like I have it like that. So that will leave me with the 1.5 inches that I want for my band. So now what I'm going to do is to open it on the side where I want to place my zipper. I'm going to open it on that side, and then I'm going to insert my waistline. I'll make it enter into this band by the half an inch that I'm going to use to sew. I'll cover it up, and then I'm going to sew on it. Okay, so this is what our pant is looking like after fixing our band. So you want your crotch area to always be flat like this, okay? So just draft it the way I explained, and you have something like this. You don't want anything packing on your crotch, and you can see that this is like a flared pant. The flare is very full because I use 25 inches. If you want yours to be fuller than this, you can use more or less if you don't want it to be this big. Okay, you can see how beautiful this trouser is looking. And then on the side here, it's a big size, so I had to hold it with my pin. On the side here, you can see our side pocket. So like I said, the tutorial on how I achieved this slant pocket is already on the channel. So if you don't know how to place a slant pocket on your trouser, you can go and check that tutorial out. You can see that it's very simple to make this trouser, and it's really beautiful. I hope you enjoyed making this beautiful tutorial with me. If you enjoyed it, let us know in the comment section. Like,